The operating room was silent. Only the steady beeping of the heart monitor filled the air. Dr. Daniel Hayes adjusted his gloves. He had performed more than 3,000 surgeries. He had never lost a patient, not once. Today's operation was supposed to be routine. The patient was Thomas Walker, a 42-year-old father of two. The surgery began perfectly then. Everything changed. Blood pressure is dropping. A nurse looked at Daniel. "We need the second syringe." Daniel held out his hand. The nurse hesitated. "Doctor, that's not the syringe we prepared." Daniel looked up. "Isn't time?" The patient's heartbeat became unstable. Daniel made a decision. "Give it to me." The medication entered Thomas's bloodstream. For 1 second. Everything seemed normal. Then the heart monitor screamed flatline. "No." Daniel immediately began CPR. Charge to 200. Clear. Nothing again. After 20 minutes, Daniel slowly removed his gloves. The patient was gone. Outside the operating room, Thomas's wife stood waiting. Hope filled her eyes. Until she saw Daniel's face, she understood immediately. She collapsed into tears. "You promised. You said he would come home." A little boy looked at Daniel. "Why didn't you save my dad?" Daniel had no answer. The next morning, every news channel carried the same headline: "Famous surgeon's mistake kills father of two." The hospital suspended Daniel. Medical investigators arrived. His license was revoked. The public called him a murderer. Friends disappeared. Patients canceled appointments. Everything he had built collapsed in one day. Late that night, Daniel sat alone reviewing the patient's medical file. As he turned the final page, a tiny white medicine label slipped onto the floor. He picked it up. His eyes widened. The label belonged to a completely different drug, a drug that should never have been inside the operating room. Daniel whispered, "This wasn't my mistake." Someone switched the syringe. Looked into the darkness for the first time. He realized someone had planned everything. Daniel couldn't stop staring at the white label. His hands were shaking. The medicine listed on the label was never supposed to be used during the operation. He checked the patient's file again, then the operating room report, then the pharmacy record. His heartbeat quickened. The numbers didn't match. Someone had replaced the syringe and erased every trace. The next morning, Daniel rushed back to the hospital. The receptionist looked at him with cold eyes. "Not allowed here anymore. Only need 5 minutes. I'm sorry, those are the director's orders." Daniel turned toward the emergency entrance. A familiar voice called his name, "Dr. Hayes." It was Nurse Emily Parker. She looked frightened. "I can't stay long." Daniel lowered his voice. "Emily, you notice anything strange during the surgery?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Been afraid to tell anyone." Daniel's heart raced. "What did you see?" Emily looked around to make sure no one was listening. "When I went to the medication cabinet, the syringe you requested was already on the tray." Daniel frowned. "Never asked anyone to prepare it." Emily's face turned pale. "I know. That's why I can't sleep." Daniel whispered, "Who brought it?" Emily swallowed. "I don't know. I saw someone leaving the operating room." "Who?" Before she could answer, a black luxury car stopped in front of the hospital. Hospital director Robert Collins stepped out. His eyes immediately locked onto Daniel. He walked over. "You were told never to return." Daniel held up the white label. "This doesn't belong to my patient." Director glanced at it for only 1 second, then his expression changed. He quickly recovered. "It changes nothing." Daniel stared at him. "You recognized it." Director remained silent. Daniel took 1 step closer. "You knew." Before the director could answer, Emily suddenly grabbed Daniel's arm. Her face had turned completely white. She whispered, "Don't trust him." Daniel looked at her. "What?" A single tear rolled down her cheek. "I saw him inside the operating room before the surgery even began." Daniel felt his blood run cold. "You saw Director Collins inside the operating room?" Emily nodded. "I didn't understand it at the time. I thought he came to wish the team good luck." Daniel frowned. Hospital directors never enter a sterile operating room. Emily lowered her head. "I know. I should have said something sooner." Before Daniel could respond, Director Collins interrupted. "Emily." His voice was calm, but his eyes weren't. "Return to work." Emily didn't move. Collins took 1 step closer. "I wasn't asking." Emily looked at Daniel one last time, then quietly walked back into the hospital. Daniel noticed something strange. She was terrified, not nervous, terrified. That evening, Daniel sat alone in his apartment. His medical career was over. His phone hadn't rung in days. No friends, no patients, No colleagues, only silence. He opened his laptop if someone had switched the syringe. There had to be proof. He logged into the hospital's cloud backup, access denied. His account had already been deleted. He tried another password, nothing. Then a notification appeared on his screen. Asterisk asterisk unknown user wants to share a file. Asterisk asterisk Daniel froze. He clicked asterisk accept asterisk asterisk. A video began downloading. No name, no sender, only one title. Asterisk asterisk operating room 4 security backup asterisk asterisk Daniel whispered, "That's impossible." Everyone had said the cameras were broken that day. The video opened. The operating room appeared. The timestamp showed. 30 minutes before surgery. Daniel watched as nurses prepared the room then. The door opened. Director Robert Collins walked in. He looked around carefully, making sure no one was watching. He approached the medication tray, reached into his jacket, removed a syringe, and quietly replaced one already lying there. Daniel's hands began to shake. No. Did it? Just then, the video suddenly stopped. The screen turned black. A new message appeared, asterisk asterisk if you want to stay alive. Delete this, that exact moment. Someone knocked on Daniel's apartment door, 3 slow knocks. He looked through the peephole. No one was there. He slowly opened the door. A small envelope lay on the floor inside. There was only one sentence, asterisk asterisk, they're watching you now. Asterisk asterisk Daniel picked up the envelope. His apartment hallway was empty, no footsteps, no elevator sound. Whoever left it had disappeared. He looked again at the single sentence, watching you now. A chill ran through his body. He quickly locked the door, closed every curtain, then replayed the security video this time. He noticed something he had missed when Director Collins replaced the syringe. He wasn't alone. A reflection appeared in the operating room window. Someone else was standing there watching. Daniel paused the video. He zoomed in. The image was blurry, but one detail stood out. A silver watch, an expensive watch engraved with the initials, asterisk asterisk M. R asterisk asterisk Daniel whispered, "Who are you?" Just then his phone rang, unknown number. He answered carefully. Woman's trembling voice replied, "Dr. Hayes." "It's Emily." Daniel stood up. "Emily, where are you? I can't talk long." "They know I spoke to you." Daniel's heart sank. "Are you safe?" "I don't think so." She began crying. "I found something." "What?" "The medication records. They changed them. The original files disappeared. I made copies." Daniel's eyes widened. "Emily, listen to me. Don't tell anyone. I'm coming to get you." Emily whispered, "Meet me at St. Mary's Church." Hour. Then the call ended. Daniel grabbed his keys, the flash drive, the white label, and rushed outside. Rain poured from the sky. The streets were almost empty as he drove toward the church. He noticed the same black SUV behind him. One turn, it followed. Second turn, still behind him. Third turn, the SUV accelerated. Daniel realized he wasn't being followed by coincidence. Someone wanted to stop him. Before he reached Emily, he pressed harder on the accelerator. The black SUV closed the distance. Then, without warning, it slammed into the back of his car. The steering wheel spun violently. Daniel lost control. His car crashed through a guardrail. Everything went black. Darkness, complete silence. Daniel slowly opened his eyes. His head was bleeding. The front of his car had been destroyed. Smoke drifted through the broken windshield. He reached for his phone. The screen was cracked. Only one missed call, Emily. Daniel immediately called back. No answer. Again. Nothing. Then a text message appeared. It wasn't from Emily. It came from an unknown number. Asterisk asterisk, you're too late. Asterisk asterisk, Daniel's heart nearly stopped. He forced himself out of the wrecked car. Every bone in his body hurt, but he didn't care. He jumped into a passing taxi. St. Mary's Church. As fast as you can. 20 minutes later, the taxi stopped. Police cars, ambulances, yellow crime scene tape. Daniel froze. No. He pushed through the crowd. A police officer stopped him. "You can't go in. I'm Dr. Daniel Hayes, looking for Nurse Emily Parker." The officer looked at him. His face changed. "You knew her?" Daniel whispered. "Where is she?" The officer lowered his head. "We found her inside the church." Daniel's voice trembled. "Is she alive?" The officer didn't answer. Daniel already knew. He slowly walked past the police tape. Inside the church, everything was silent. A single candle was still burning. Emily was lying on the floor in her hand. She was holding a small flash drive. Daniel knelt beside her. Tears filled his eyes. "I'm sorry. I couldn't get here in time." He gently took the flash drive attached to it. was a tiny handwritten note, Emily's handwriting, don't let them erase the truth. Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. He wanted to give up. His career was gone, an innocent woman was dead, and someone was hunting anyone who knew the truth then. He inserted the flash drive into his laptop. A hidden folder appeared. Its name was only 2 words, Project Lazarus. Daniel opened it. Hundreds of confidential hospital documents appeared, fake medical reports, altered pharmacy records, secret payments, and one file highlighted in red. Its title made Daniel's blood run cold, next target. He clicked it. The file contained only one photograph. It was Daniel Hayes. Daniel stared at the computer screen. His own photograph filled the monitor below it. Only 3 words were written. Next target. Daniel Hayes. A cold shiver ran through his body. This was no longer about losing his medical license. Someone wanted him dead. He quickly opened the rest of the folder. Dozens of files appeared: patients, operation, insurance payments, death certificates. Each file contained the same hospital logo: St. Andrew Medical Center. Daniel whispered. This wasn't one mistake. It was a system. He continued scrolling, then one file caught his attention. Confidential, internal only. He opened it. Inside was a list of 32 patients. Every one of them had died after routine surgeries. Official reports blamed medical complications, but beside each name, someone had written medication replaced Daniel felt sick. 32 innocent people. Suddenly, his laptop camera turned on by itself. A red light appeared. Someone was watching him. Then a message appeared on the screen. We know where you are. Daniel immediately closed the laptop. At that exact moment, someone tried to open his apartment door. The handle moved once, twice, 3 times. Daniel held his breath. The door slowly began to unlock. Someone had a key, without making a sound. He climbed onto the fire escape outside the bedroom window. Seconds later, 3 men wearing black clothes entered his apartment. One searched the living room. Another unplugged the computer. The third quietly said, "Find the flash drive." Daniel watched from outside. If he had waited only 30 more seconds, he would have been inside. His phone vibrated. Unknown number. He answered in a whisper. "Hello?" An elderly man's voice replied. "Dr. Hayes, my name is Arthur Bennett. I worked at St. Andrew Hospital for 40 years. Daniel froze. Been waiting for someone brave enough to uncover the truth. Daniel looked back into his apartment. The men were still searching. Arthur continued, "If you want to stay alive, don't go to the police. They are already involved." Daniel's heart pounded. "Then who can I trust?" Arthur became silent for a moment, then quietly answered, "Only one person." "Who?" Arthur whispered. "Patient everyone believes died during your surgery is still alive." Daniel couldn't move. "Patient is alive?" Arthur Bennett answered quietly. "Yes. They wanted the world to believe he died." Daniel's mind raced. "But I attended the funeral." Arthur sighed. "You attended a funeral, not his." Daniel felt the ground disappear beneath him. "If that's true, then whose body was buried?" Arthur replied, "Someone who was never identified. They switched everything, medical records, the death certificate, even the body." Daniel whispered. "Why?" Arthur's voice grew heavier. "Because the patient saw something he was never supposed to see." Before Daniel could ask another question, the call suddenly disconnected. Seconds later, his phone vibrated again. A text message: Locker 317. Central train station. Midnight. Come alone. No sender, no explanation. 11:53 p.m. Rain poured across the city. Daniel entered the nearly empty train station. Every shadow felt dangerous. He found locker 317. His hands trembled as he entered the code from the message. The locker clicked open. Inside, a small envelope, a hospital ID badge, and an old photograph. Daniel picked up the photo. His heart stopped. It showed 5 people standing together inside St. Andrew Medical Center. One was Director Robert Collins. One was Arthur Bennett. Another was a man wearing a surgical mask. His face couldn't be seen. But the last 2 people shocked Daniel. One was the prosecutor who had destroyed his career. The other was Judge Eleanor Brooks, the same judge who had officially approved every investigation into the hospital. Daniel whispered, "It wasn't just the hospital. It reached the courts." As he turned the photograph over, he discovered a handwritten sentence, ***, trust no one wearing this badge. Looked at the hospital ID inside the envelope. The name read, ***, Michael Reed, Department, Pathology, ***. At that exact moment, a man's voice echoed through the empty station. "Looking for me?" Daniel slowly turned around, standing at the end of the platform, holding the exact same hospital ID badge, was Dr. Michael Reed, the man everyone believed had died. 3 years ago, the room fell silent. Daniel could barely breathe. "Patient is alive," Arthur Bennett answered quietly. "Yes." They wanted the world to believe he died. Daniel's mind raced. "But I attended the funeral," Arthur sighed. "You attended a funeral, not his." Daniel felt the ground disappear beneath him. "If that's true, then whose body was buried?" Arthur replied, "Someone who was never identified. They switched everything, medical records, the death certificate, even the body." Daniel whispered. "Why?" Arthur's voice grew heavier. "Because the patient saw something he was never supposed to see." Before Daniel could ask another question, the call suddenly disconnected. Seconds later, his phone vibrated. A new text message appeared, ***, Locker 317, Central Train Station, midnight. Come alone, ***, no sender, no explanation. 11:53 p.m. Rain poured across the city. Daniel entered the nearly empty train station. Every shadow felt dangerous. He found locker 317. His hands trembled as he entered the code. The locker clicked open. Inside, a small envelope, a hospital ID badge, and an old photograph. Daniel picked up the photo. His heart stopped. It showed 5 people standing together inside St. Andrew Medical Center. One was Director Robert Collins, one was Arthur Bennett, another was a man wearing a surgical mask. His face couldn't be seen. But the last 2 people shocked Daniel. One was the prosecutor who had destroyed his career. The other was Judge Eleanor Brooks, the same judge who had officially approved every investigation into the hospital. Daniel whispered, "It wasn't just the hospital. It reached the courts." As he turned the photograph over, he discovered a handwritten sentence, ***, trust no one wearing this badge. Looked at the hospital ID inside the envelope. The name read, ***, Doctor Michael Reed, Department, ***, Pathology, ***. At that exact moment, a man's voice echoed through the empty station. "Looking for me?" Daniel slowly turned around, standing at the end of the platform, holding the exact same hospital ID badge, was Dr. Michael Reed, the man everyone believed had died. 3 years ago, Daniel couldn't believe his eyes. "Dr. Michael Reed, you're dead." Man smiled sadly. "That's exactly what they wanted everyone to believe." He slowly walked closer. Rainwater dripped from his coat. "I don't have much time." Daniel remained cautious. "Do I know you're telling the truth?" Michael reached into his pocket. He handed Daniel an old photograph. It showed 2 young surgeons standing side by side. Daniel recognized himself. The other man was Michael Reed. The picture had been taken 15 years earlier during their surgical residency. "You saved my life once," Michael said quietly. "Now it's my turn to save yours." Daniel lowered his guard. "What really happened?" Michael looked around the empty station before speaking. 3 years ago, I discovered something hidden inside the hospital. They were performing unnecessary surgeries, then altering medical records to collect millions in insurance payments. Daniel's face hardened. "And anyone who found out," Michael nodded, "disappeared. I refused to stay silent. So they staged my death. They bribed officials. They forged DNA reports. They buried another man under my name." Daniel remembered the list of 32 victims. It wasn't just fraud. It was murder. Michael nodded slowly. "And you're the next person they want to erase." He handed Daniel a small encrypted hard drive. "This contains every financial transfer, every forged document, and the names of everyone involved." Daniel took it carefully. "This is enough to destroy them." Michael shook his head. "No, it's enough to make them panic." Suddenly, the station lights went out. Darkness covered the platform. A red laser sight appeared on Michael's chest. Daniel's eyes widened. "Michael," A gunshot echoed through the station. Michael pushed Daniel to the ground. The bullet struck Michael instead. He collapsed. Daniel crawled toward him. "Stay with me." Michael struggled to breathe with his last strength. He grabbed Daniel's jacket. "There is one more person inside the hospital. Someone you trust." Daniel leaned closer. "Who is it?" Michael whispered one final name. Daniel's face turned white. "No, that's impossible." Name Michael spoke was Doctor Sarah Hayes, Daniel's younger sister. Daniel stepped backward. His mind refused to accept what he had just heard. "My sister." "No, you're wrong." Michael's breathing became weaker. "Wish I were. I saw her. Was in the restricted research wing. She met with Collins. Every week." Daniel shook his head. "Sarah would never help murder innocent people." Michael grabbed Daniel's wrist. "Don't believe anyone until you know the whole truth." His hand slowly slipped away. Michael Reed took his final breath. Daniel closed his friend's eyes then. Police sirens echoed through the station, too fast. Someone had called them immediately. Daniel looked around. The encrypted hard drive was still in his hand. If the police found it, everything Michael had died for would be lost. He disappeared into the darkness just seconds before officers flooded the platform. The next morning, every television station carried the same breaking news. Fugitive surgeon suspected in second murder. Security camera showed Daniel kneeling beside Michael's body. The footage ended before the sniper fired to the public. It looked as though Daniel had killed him. Daniel stared at the screen in disbelief. "Framing me again." His phone vibrated. One new message from an unknown number. Your sister wants to meet you." Below it was an address. An abandoned children's hospital on the edge of the city. 2 hours later, Daniel entered the deserted building. Broken windows, dust-covered hallways, rusted hospital beds at the end of the corridor. A woman stepped out of the shadows. It was Sarah, his younger sister. Tears filled her eyes. "I'm so sorry, Daniel." He looked at her coldly. "Were you part of this?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she handed him an old hospital keycard. "This opens Laboratory 7. Daniel frowned. "What's inside?" Sarah whispered. "The reason they destroyed your life. The reason they killed everyone who got too close." Daniel looked into her eyes. "One question. Tell me the truth. You working with Robert Collins?" Sarah closed her eyes, then quietly replied, "Yes. But not for the reason you think." Before Daniel could speak again, a deafening explosion shook the entire building. The walls cracked. The lights went out. Someone had planted explosives, and they had just been triggered. The explosion threw Daniel and Sarah to the floor. Glass shattered. The ceiling began collapsing. Smoke filled the hallway. Daniel grabbed Sarah's hand. "We have to move." They ran through the burning corridor as pieces of concrete crashed behind them. Another explosion echoed through the abandoned hospital. Someone wasn't trying to scare them. Someone wanted to make sure they never left alive. At the emergency exit, the steel door refused to open. It had been locked from the outside. Sarah looked around desperately. "This way." She kicked open an old maintenance door. They crawled through a narrow service tunnel. Minutes later, they emerged into the cold night air. Daniel collapsed onto the ground, coughing. He turned toward Sarah. "Start talking." She lowered her head. "5 years ago, I accepted a research position at St. Andrew Medical Center. They told me it was for developing life-saving medications." Daniel listened silently. "But after a few months, I discovered Laboratory 7. "What was it?" Sarah's voice trembled. "They weren't testing medicine. They were testing people." Daniel stared at her. "What do you mean?" "They secretly changed medications during routine surgeries. If the patient survived, they called it a success. If the patient died, they blamed surgical complications." Daniel felt sick. "So all those deaths," Sarah nodded, "were never accidents. They were human experiments." Tears rolled down her face. "I wanted to expose them. Collins threatened our family, said if I spoke, you would be the first to die." Daniel's anger slowly turned into heartbreak. "You were protecting me." Sarah whispered, "I thought I could secretly collect evidence. I was wrong. They found out." Daniel remembered Emily, Michael, 32 innocent patients. "So that's why they destroyed my career." Sarah nodded. "They needed a respected surgeon to take the blame." Before Daniel could answer, the hospital behind them erupted in flames. Laboratory 7. And every document inside was being destroyed. Sarah suddenly remembered something. "Backup." Daniel looked at her. "What backup?" There was never just one copy. I hid another 1 year ago. Where? Sarah looked directly into his eyes, in the hospital chapel, behind the wooden cross, before they could leave. Headlights flooded the parking lot. 6 black SUVs surrounded them. Armed men stepped out then. Director Robert Collins slowly emerged from the middle vehicle. He smiled calmly. "You've caused me far more trouble than I expected, Dr. Hayes." He raised a pistol. "But every story must have an ending." Robert Collins stood only a few meters away. His pistol remained pointed directly at Daniel. The armed men spread out. There was nowhere to run. Collins smiled. "Been very persistent." Daniel stepped in front of Sarah. "If you wanted me dead." "Wait this long?" Collins laughed quietly. "Because dead men can't confess." He pulled a folded newspaper from his coat. The front page read, **fugitive surgeon responsible for multiple murders. Collins tossed it onto the ground. By tomorrow, the whole country will believe you kidnapped your own sister." Sarah stared at him. "You murdered innocent people." Collins shrugged. "No, I made difficult decisions. Progress always has a price." Daniel's fists clenched. 32 people died. Collins looked him straight in the eyes. 32 failures. Thousands of future lives could have been saved. Daniel felt sick. "You call them failures. They were fathers, mothers, children." Collins' smile disappeared. "They were data." Silence filled the parking lot then. Collins slowly lowered his gun. "Bring him." Armed men grabbed Daniel. They forced him toward the black SUV. Sarah screamed. "No!" She tried to reach him. Another guard held her back. Collins opened the SUV door. "I want him to see everything." 1 hour later. The convoy arrived at St. Andrew Medical Center, not the public entrance. A hidden underground garage. A steel elevator waited. Collins pressed his thumb against a scanner. The elevator descended far below the hospital level. Level -2. Level. Finally, the doors opened. Daniel froze. Laboratory 7. It was far larger than he had imagined. Rows of sealed rooms, medical equipment, computers, scientists in white coats. As if nothing illegal had ever happened, Collins spread his arms. "Welcome to the future of medicine." Daniel looked through a glass window. Inside one room, several patients lay unconscious, each connected to experimental machines. One of them slowly opened his eyes. Daniel recognized the face immediately. It was the man everyone believed had died during Daniel's surgery. He was alive, weak, terrified, and when he saw Daniel, he whispered only 2 words, "Help me." At that exact moment, every alarm in Laboratory 7 began flashing red. A computerized voice echoed through the underground facility. Security breach detected. Collins' confident smile vanished. Someone else had just entered the laboratory. Red warning lights flashed across Laboratory 7. A computerized voice echoed through every corridor. Security breach. Lockdown activated. Scientists abandoned their workstations. Guards rushed toward the main entrance. Robert Collins looked furious. "Find whoever came in." Daniel glanced at Sarah for the first time. Collins wasn't in control. Suddenly, the lights went out. Complete darkness. Only the emergency lights glowed red. Then, one by one, the glass doors of every patient room unlocked. A loud metallic click echoed through the laboratory. The prisoners were free. Confusion spread instantly. Doctors shouted. Guards fired warning shots. Patients stumbled into the hallways. Frightened and disoriented, Daniel didn't hesitate. He ran to the room where the man from his failed surgery was being held. The patient looked weak, but alive. Daniel unlocked his restraints. "My name is Daniel Hayes. I'm getting you out of here." Man nodded slowly. "My name is Thomas Walker. They told my family I was dead." Before Daniel could respond, a masked figure emerged from the smoke, dressed entirely in black. The stranger held a small remote device. With one press of a button, every monitor in the laboratory switched on. Instead of medical data, security footage appeared. Hidden recordings, illegal experiments, patients being injected without consent, doctors altering medical records, Robert Collins ordering evidence to be destroyed. Every crime played on dozens of giant screens. The scientists froze. The guards looked at each other in disbelief. One of them lowered his weapon. Another whispered, "My God." Collins shouted, "Turn them off." No one moved. The masked stranger slowly removed the hood. Daniel stared in shock. It was Arthur Bennett, the retired hospital employee. "I told you. Someone had to be brave enough to uncover the truth." He held up a small transmitter, already uploaded every file, to journalists, federal investigators, and every major news network. Colin's face turned pale. No, Arthur smiled. It's over. But suddenly, a loud clap echoed through the laboratory. Everyone turned. A woman stepped out from the shadows, elegant, confident, completely calm. She smiled at Collins. "You disappoint me, Robert." Collins looked terrified. I thought you were overseas." Woman laughed softly. "Forgotten who built this organization." She slowly faced Daniel. "My name is Victoria Ashford. The hospital was only one small piece." Daniel frowned. "What are you talking about?" Victoria's smile widened. "There are 11 laboratories in 7 different countries." She looked directly into Daniel's eyes. "And you have only uncovered the first one." Victoria Ashford slowly walked through Laboratory 7. No one dared to stop her. Even Robert Collins lowered his head. "I'm sorry," Collins said quietly. Victoria didn't even look at him. "You failed. You let one surgeon destroy 10 years of work." She turned toward Daniel. "Been asking the wrong question." Daniel stared at her. "Wrong question?" Victoria nodded. "Been asking who switched the syringe." She smiled. "You should have been asking." Daniel remained silent. Victoria continued. "Your patient wasn't chosen by accident, was an investigative journalist. He had uncovered our entire operation, planned to expose us, so made sure he disappeared." Daniel's anger exploded. "You ruined hundreds of lives, just to protect yourselves." Victoria shook her head. "No, protect something much bigger." She pressed a button on a small tablet. A world map appeared on the giant screens. 7 countries lit up, 11 laboratories, hundreds of hospitals, thousands of patients. This isn't a hospital network. It's a global organization. Daniel felt overwhelmed. "Many people know about this." Victoria smiled. "Few, most of them, are powerful. Government officials, judges, business executives, pharmaceutical CEOs." Daniel realized the truth. Robert Collins had never been the real leader. He had only been following orders. Suddenly, Arthur Bennett stepped beside Daniel. He quietly whispered, "Don't believe everything she says." Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" Arthur discreetly slipped a folded piece of paper into Daniel's hand. "Read it only when you're alone." Before Daniel could respond, Victoria noticed her smile disappeared. "Arthur, I trusted you." Arthur looked directly at her. "No, you trusted fear. I trusted the truth." Victoria slowly raised her hand. The armed guards surrounded Arthur. Daniel stepped forward. "If you touch him," Victoria interrupted. "You still think this story is about saving lives?" She pointed toward the unconscious patients. "It isn't. It's about controlling the future, without warning." She pulled a remote from her pocket. She pressed one button. A loud countdown echoed through Laboratory 7. Asterisk asterisk self-destruct sequence activated asterisk 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 10 0 0 0959 0958. Asterisk asterisk scientists began screaming. Doctors ran toward the exits. Patients cried for help. Victoria calmly walked toward a private elevator. She looked back one last time. "If I can't protect my secrets, no one leaves here alive." Elevator doors closed. Daniel looked at the flashing countdown. 9 minutes. To save dozens of innocent people, expose the conspiracy, and stop Victoria Ashford forever. The countdown echoed through Laboratory 7. Asterisk asterisk 0859. 0858. Asterisk asterisk panic spread everywhere. Scientists ran in every direction. Patients cried for help. Smoke began pouring from the ventilation system. Daniel turned to Sarah. "We don't have much time." She nodded. "Emergency shutdown panel. It's inside the central control room." Arthur Bennett pointed down the hallway. "Get the patients out." Daniel grabbed his arm. "You can't do it alone." Arthur smiled. "Lived long enough. They deserve a chance." Without another word, Arthur disappeared into the smoke. Daniel and Sarah sprinted toward the control room. The heavy security door was locked. A biometric scanner flashed red. Asterisk asterisk access denied asterisk asterisk. Sarah pulled the hospital keycard from her pocket. "No, won't work." Daniel suddenly remembered Michael Reed's encrypted hard drive. He connected it to the control panel. A hidden administrator menu appeared. Sarah looked at him in disbelief. "He gave you full access." Daniel entered the final password hidden inside the files. The massive steel door slowly opened. Inside, hundreds of monitors displayed every laboratory around the world. 11 facilities, 7 countries, each operating at full capacity. Sarah whispered, "My God." Daniel ignored the screens. He searched for the emergency shutdown controls. Then he found them. A large red button, *** global data purge ** next to it. Another option, *** upload all evidence ** only one could be activated. Sarah looked at him. If you upload the evidence, the countdown continues. If you stop the explosion, all the proof disappears forever. Daniel froze. Thousands of future victims, or dozens of innocent people trapped in the building. He had seconds to decide. Meanwhile, Victoria Ashford entered a private underground tunnel. She smiled. Everything was unfolding exactly as she expected. She whispered, "Choose, Dr. Hayes, the truth or the lives." Suddenly, a voice echoed behind her, "Choose both." Victoria turned sharply. Standing in the tunnel, holding a pistol, was Thomas Walker, the journalist everyone believed had died. He had escaped during the lockdown. He pointed the weapon directly at Victoria. "This ends tonight." Victoria smiled without fear. "You still don't understand." Thomas frowned. "What?" Victoria slowly raised her hands. "You think I'm the mastermind?" She laughed quietly. "Only the chairwoman." Thomas and Daniel looked at her in shock. Victoria's smile widened. "Founder has been watching all of you from the very beginning." At that exact moment, one of the control room monitors turned on by itself. A shadowed figure appeared on the screen. The face remained hidden. Only one sentence filled the room. ***, welcome, Dr. Daniel Hayes. I've been waiting for you." ***, the shadowed figure remained motionless. Its face was hidden. Its voice was calm, almost familiar. "Dr. Daniel Hayes, you've exceeded every expectation." Daniel stepped closer to the monitor. "Who are you?" The figure ignored the question. "Uncovered Laboratory 7. You exposed Robert Collins. You found Victoria Ashford. You've seen only what I allowed you to see." Daniel's fists tightened. "You murdered innocent people." Figure replied without emotion. "No. I sacrificed a few to save millions." "Daniel, it's a lie." The screen suddenly displayed hundreds of medical charts, graphs, survival statistics, research reports. The mysterious voice continued, "For 50 years, our organization has cured diseases the world still believes are incurable. Cancers, genetic disorders, deadly infections." Daniel stared at the impossible data. "Then why hide it?" "Because governments, corporations, and wars would destroy everything." Sarah shook her head. "You experimented on innocent people." The figure answered, "History remembers only successful discoveries, never the price." Suddenly, Thomas Walker's voice echoed through the control room. "Price was my family." Everyone turned. Thomas was standing behind Victoria, his pistol still aimed at her. Tears filled his eyes. "My wife believed I was dead. My son grew up without a father." Victoria remained strangely calm. She looked at Daniel. "You still haven't asked the most important question." Daniel frowned. "What question?" She smiled. "Why were you chosen?" Silence. Victoria slowly walked toward Daniel. "Out of thousands of surgeons, you were selected years before that operation." Daniel's heart pounded. "What are you talking about?" She pulled a sealed personnel file from her briefcase. Across the front, one name, ***Dr. Daniel Hayes ***. Inside, medical school photographs, psychological evaluations, employment records, private family information, every detail of his life, collected for over 20 years. Daniel whispered, "You've been watching me." "Since I was a student." Victoria nodded. "You weren't our victim. You were our candidate." Daniel froze. "My candidate?" The shadowed figure finally spoke again. "Because only one surgeon in the world possesses the skill, the ethics, and the courage to lead what comes next." Screen flickered for the first time. The hidden face stepped into the light. Daniel's eyes widened. Sarah gasped. Thomas lowered his weapon. The founder was someone Daniel recognized instantly. A man he believed had died. When he was only 12 years old, his father, Dr. Jonathan Hayes, Silence. No one moved. Daniel stared at the man on the screen. His voice barely escaped. "Dad." Dr. Jonathan Hayes looked exactly as Daniel remembered, older, grayer, but unmistakably the same man. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "You died 25 years ago." Jonathan looked down. "That's what I wanted you to believe." Daniel stepped closer to the screen. "You left Mom. You left Sarah. You left me." Jonathan closed his eyes. I left to save you. Daniel slammed his fist onto the control panel. Save me? My entire life was destroyed. My career, my reputation, my friends. Emily died. Michael died. 32 innocent people died. Jonathan's voice trembled. I know. I will carry that guilt forever. Sarah could no longer hold back her tears. Why didn't you come home? Jonathan answered quietly. Because the day I tried to leave, they murdered everyone who stood beside me. I had only one choice: disappear, or watch my family die. Thomas Walker shouted, You built this organization. Jonathan nodded slowly. Yes, I helped create it. It became something I could no longer control. Victoria Ashford smiled. You always were too sentimental, Jonathan. She turned toward Daniel. Your father created the greatest medical research program in history. Simply became too weak to lead it. Jonathan interrupted sharply. No. I became human. Victoria laughed. Humanity never changed the world. Courage did. Jonathan ignored her. He looked directly into Daniel's eyes. There is one final truth. The operation where your patient supposedly died. It wasn't an accident. Daniel whispered, I know. Jonathan shook his head. No, still don't. The syringe was never meant for Thomas Walker. Daniel frowned. What? Jonathan spoke the words Daniel never expected to hear. They intended to kill you. Room froze. Sarah gasped. Thomas stared in disbelief. Jonathan continued. You switched places with Thomas just minutes before surgery. The operating schedule changed. They didn't have time to replace the plan. The poison syringe was prepared for the surgeon. Daniel felt the blood drain from his face. They wanted me dead. Jonathan nodded. You survived. Only because Thomas received the injection first, before Daniel could respond. Every monitor suddenly went black. Victoria slowly lowered the remote control in her hand. She smiled coldly. Enough family reunions. She pressed a second button. The laboratory doors slammed shut. Steel barriers sealed every exit. Then a new countdown appeared. *** nuclear containment protocol activated *** 05000459. *** Victoria looked at Daniel one last time. If you want to save your father, you'll have to find him before time runs out. The screen went dark. Jonathan Hayes had vanished again. The countdown echoed through the underground laboratory. ** 0459, 0458. ** red emergency lights flashed across every corridor. Daniel stood frozen. His father was alive, but somewhere beyond the maze of tunnels. Sarah grabbed his arm. Have to move. He took a deep breath. Right. He turned to Thomas Walker. Patients to the emergency elevators. Thomas nodded. Hold the guards back. Arthur Bennett stepped beside him. Help. Without another word. The two men disappeared into the smoke-filled hallway. Daniel and Sarah followed the emergency map. Every corridor looked the same. Every door required biometric access. Suddenly, Daniel remembered the folded note Arthur had secretly given him. He pulled it from his pocket. Inside were only 4 handwritten words. ***, trust the old chapel. ***, Sarah looked confused. Chapel? Daniel suddenly understood. The backup evidence. Another exit. They changed direction. Minutes later, they reached the abandoned underground chapel. It looked untouched. Dust covered the wooden pews. A large wooden cross stood behind the altar. Sarah whispered, This is where I hid the backup. Together they pulled the cross forward. A hidden compartment opened inside. A waterproof metal case. Daniel lifted it carefully. There were 3 items inside. A hard drive, a leather journal, and a sealed envelope addressed to him. *** to my son, Daniel. *** His hands trembled as he opened it. The letter was written in his father's handwriting. Daniel, if you are reading this, then I failed to stop them. I never abandoned you because I stopped loving you. I disappeared because loving you meant staying away. The organization believed you would become my successor. I spent my life trying to prevent that. There is one place they can never control. Follow the white lighthouse. I will be waiting. Dad. Daniel quietly folded the letter. A tear rolled down his face for the first time in 25 years. He believed his father had truly loved him. Suddenly, the chapel doors burst open. Robert Collins stormed inside with armed guards. His face was covered in blood. Taken enough from me, he aimed his pistol directly at Daniel. Give me the case. Daniel refused. Collins smiled. Then your sister dies first. He turned the gun toward Sarah before Collins could pull the trigger. A single gunshot echoed through the chapel. Collins froze, his eyes widened, blood slowly spread across his chest. He collapsed to the floor, standing in the doorway, holding a sniper rifle. Was an elderly man Daniel had never seen before. He lowered the weapon and calmly said, "Dr. Hayes, your father sent me. My name is Gabriel. Been protecting your family for 25 years. Gabriel slowly lowered the sniper rifle. The chapel fell silent. Robert Collins lay motionless on the stone floor for years. He had been the face of the conspiracy. Now he was gone. Daniel stared at the old man. "You knew my father," Gabriel nodded, "for more than 40 years. We served together." Sarah frowned. "Then why didn't you stop all of this?" Gabriel looked down. "We tried. Failed." He picked up the metal case. "It's time. More running. Countdown, 0 to 40. Gabriel led Daniel and Sarah through a hidden passage beneath the chapel. The tunnel stretched deep beneath the city. Finally, they reached a massive steel door above it. Only 2 words were engraved. White Lighthouse. Daniel remembered the letter. Follow the White Lighthouse. Gabriel placed his hand on a scanner. The heavy door slowly opened. Inside, there was no laboratory, no guards, no weapons. Only a quiet command center filled with old computers, maps, and thousands of paper files. Every victim, every experiment, every secret preserved. A man stood at the far end of the room. His back was turned. Without speaking, he slowly faced them. Jonathan Hayes, Daniel's father. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then Daniel walked forward. Years of anger, pain, questions, collapsed in an instant. He embraced his father. Jonathan held his son tightly. "Sorry. I should never have let you carry this alone," Daniel whispered. "I thought you abandoned us." Jonathan closed his eyes. "Never. You were the reason I stayed alive." Sarah joined them. The 3 stood together for the first time in 25 years. Gabriel quietly stepped away, giving them the moment they had lost decades earlier. Then, every monitor inside the command center suddenly came alive. Victoria Ashford appeared on every screen. She smiled. "I expected you to find him." Jonathan looked directly at the screens. "It's over, Victoria," she laughed. "No, you've only escaped one laboratory." She pressed a button. A world map appeared again. 10 red lights were still glowing. 10 laboratories remained active. Destroyed 1 branch. I still control the rest. Jonathan calmly reached into the metal case. He removed a small encrypted device. Master Archive. Victoria's smile faded. Jonathan held the device toward the camera. Every experiment, every payment, every name. "It's all here." Daniel looked at him. "What are you going to do?" Jonathan smiled sadly. "The only thing I should have done years ago." He handed the device to Daniel. "Truth belongs to the world." Before Daniel could answer, Jonathan quietly pressed a hidden switch beneath the table. A soft alarm sounded. Gabriel's face turned pale. "No." Jonathan looked at his son. "White Lighthouse was built with one final protocol." Daniel's heart raced. "What protocol?" Jonathan answered softly. "If the archive is ever recovered, this entire facility destroys itself." A new countdown appeared above the exit. *01000059. Jonathan stepped backward. Daniel reached for him. "Dad." Jonathan smiled through tears. "Go. Finish what I couldn't." Blast doors began closing between them. Daniel slammed his hands against the steel. "Dad." Jonathan raised his hand one final time. "Sure. No one ever buries the truth again." 1 year later, the world had changed. Every major news network carried the same headline. The largest medical conspiracy in history exposed. The files from the White Lighthouse had reached every corner of the world. 11 secret laboratories, closed forever. Hundreds of corrupt officials, arrested. Pharmaceutical executives, resigned. Judges, politicians, hospital directors, all brought to justice. The families of the victims finally learned the truth. Their loved ones had never died because of medical mistakes. They had been betrayed. Daniel Hayes stood outside a newly opened hospital. Its name was simple. The Emily Parker Medical Center. Above the entrance, a bronze plaque read, dedicated to those who gave everything so the truth could live. Emily Parker, Michael Reed, Arthur Bennett, Thomas Walker, and every innocent victim. Their names would never be forgotten. Sarah walked beside her brother. You kept your promise. Daniel smiled quietly. No, kept it, inside the hospital. Every surgery was recorded, every medication was tracked, every patient had complete transparency, no hidden laboratories, no secret experiments, only medicine, the way it was always meant to be. Later that evening, Daniel walked alone to a quiet cemetery. He stopped before one grave, Doctor Jonathan Hayes beloved father a man who chose truth over fear Daniel placed a single white flower on the stone. I finally understand. You never stopped protecting us. A gentle wind passed through the trees for the first time in years. Daniel felt at peace. As he turned to leave, he noticed a small envelope resting against the grave. There was no name. Only one sentence written across the front. Some stories never truly end. Daniel slowly opened it. Inside, there was an old photograph, Jonathan Hayes, young, smiling, standing beside a woman Daniel had never seen before. On the back of the photograph, someone had written, Project Lazarus was only phase 1. Looked toward the horizon. He smiled, not because another battle was beginning, but because he was no longer afraid of the truth. He folded the photograph, placed it into his pocket, and walked forward. The end.